Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As promised, here is my video on black incels. So as you know, the incel movement has been gaining a lot of traction internationally. There are young men of all races who are subscribing to this mentality, and it has caused a lot of crime across the world. Most of the time, like, it may be attributed to the red pill, but in my book they're all the same thing. They all have the same like mentality towards women and like the same root ideology. So I'm going to be covering that in this episode. So for one, there's the misconception that incels are largely white men. Well, for one, this is a fallacy because it is known that Indian men make up a huge number of incels, but also black men are also a huge number, and by far what I believe to be the driving force behind the incel movement. So why is this? It's because black men are usually unemployed and idle. So if you look at the stats, black people are the largest number, the highest social media users. So it's not surprising that a movement like the whole incel red pill black pill movement is largely driven online, a space that is dominated by black men because they have no real world power. These people come on social media to seek out power and a voice. Yeah, so it's not surprising that black males by and large are the dominant force in the incel movement. They, in my from what I've seen, they are the ones who launch these beliefs and then other communities adopt them. So when people say that white men are becoming violent or something like that, it's because they have been fed the ideals of black and African men. And yes, just to say, African men are also incels. They also have the same ideologies towards women. It's just that the culture in Africa maybe promotes marriage or those fake bush marriages where there are really no protections for the women. So that's why it may seem that, and also because African men seek power by dominating women, so that's why it may seem like incel ideology and like gender fluidity does not exist in Africa. But in reality, if you would explain to Africans how these things work, they would tell you that yes, there are many people who are actually like that. This has happened many times by there in Africa. Like people say that, oh, Africans don't get depressed, but then certain groups come to study these people here and find out that yes, these people do get depressed. Yes, Africans do get depressed. It's just that they may have a different name for it, but they understand what you mean when you explain it to them. So, the beliefs that a lot of African and black men have in general are reflective of the incel movement, and I believe that this is a culture that is a result of hedonism and liberalism growing and increasing exponentially in society. So it's not a surprise that white groups are starting to emulate this as well. So I was scrolling social media a while back last year, and I saw this tweet by the account Involuntary Celibate on Twitter, where someone asked him, "Are you Indian? If so, that's funny." And he says, "No, I'm black." And this is not the only time that this person has admitted that he is black. And I think it comes as a shock to many who believe that black men cannot be incels because they believe that that is something that is preserved for either white or Indian men. And even those Indian men, it took a long while for people to accept that this is not a white thing, that POC men can also adopt these habits. But like I said, it is usually a product of culture, and this culture has been taken root in Africa for thousands and thousands of years, which is why it is worse in black men, and it's generally just seen as part and parcel of the culture. African women may not have a way to explain it, but they just know that these men do not like them and have never liked them. They didn't like their grandmothers, they didn't like their mothers, they don't like them either, and nothing is changing. As a matter of fact, some people actually believe that this incel's account is lying, but it's not surprising because he says the same thing that that a lot of black men complain about, which is that black alternative women did not like him, so that's why he started chasing after white women. But then white women don't like him either, and it's understandable because no one in their right mind would want a black man. So it's like, it's not surprising, and I know some people may think that it is, but it's not surprising for a black man. And the reason why that is because black men are perceived to be hypersexual, hypermasculine, when this is not the case. For, well, most of them, black men only use masculinity as an outfit, like the same way transgenders and other, let me say drag queens, the same way drag queens will put on an outfit. It's not something they resonate with or they understand. Black men want nothing to do with the responsibilities of manhood, so that's why it's just an outfit to them. It's just the physical part of it that they portray, but none of the actual traits of a man. So yeah, this that's why you see that black men who may not fit this mold, which is many, who may not fit the athletic mold, may have issues with blending into being accepted into certain, or feeling they may have issues with this incel movement, or they identify with it. And even if they do fit those standards, those physical standards, because the white women that they want reject them, they still turn to incelhood. Because the thing about incels, it's not that they don't have access to women, it's that the women they do have access to, they want nothing to do with. They feel that they are better than those women, and that's what causes all this drama on social media. And they lash out at those women both in real life and online. And yes, when I say online, there has been a case of a black man who has shot his classmate and committed suicide. And the more these cases arise, the more people will wake up. So if you are not really aware of the news, a 17-year-old black boy in Nashville shot a teenage girl, and then thankfully offed himself. And it is said that he had like an entire manifesto targeting Jewish people, and he was also a self-loathing incel, which is usually just code from liberals for he just loved white women and hated black women. Because obviously, like I said, these incels target women that they feel are not a status symbol, or yeah, women they imagine are not on their level. So that's the only issue they have. So unfortunately, the girl passed away. And now, hopefully, what this has done is open a conversation on what incels are, because incel culture, like I said, is becoming more prevalent in every single community thanks to social media. Before, white men and others were exposed to music like hip hop with artists like Eminem and all that. Before social decay that led to these cultures intertwining that should really not be intertwining, this belief was completely foreign to like maybe East Asian and white communities. So yes, in conclusion, I'd like to say that I'm happy that more people outside of circles like the investment and the right wing are becoming aware of the damaging effects of including people like black men in civilized culture. Because like I said, black men have certain thinking patterns that are not compatible with civilization at all. Some people will have to learn the hard way, especially the liberals. I don't think the leftists care, by the way. They are degenerates anyway, and they are willing to suffer to prove a point. But because this is a video that I feel this is like something that could be a video series, because there's a lot to unpack. The whole incel movement did not occur in a vacuum, so there are many other factors that help influence it. One of which is feminism, to a large extent, and I say feminism because feminism helped launch this mentality that a lot of that influences the red pill and the black pill and the incel movement. And to prove this, I found this comment, I think an year ago on the Lotus Guitars podcast channel. Here, so yes, this commenter said, to add, the manosphere is a symptom of feminism, not a partner to it in abolishing marriage. So what I believe this person is saying, yes, the intention was to blame women, but I believe what they're saying to an extent is true. Feminism helps launch the rise of weak men who believe in equality and dodging the responsibilities of a man as a provider and protector. This is what has launched incels, who are just crybabies who abandon every traditional responsibility of men while still claiming the benefits of being a patriarch. They want to be respected by women, be looked up to by their families, but they don't want those families, they don't want to provide for them, and all that. And that is a hallmark of both the incel and the red pill movement. Because it's not that incels do not get married or get into relationships. They do, but they lash out at the women because they feel that they are being cheated out of a chance to be in a better relationship with a woman they feel is on their level. So yeah, like I said, this comment said that the manosphere is a symptom of feminism. While feminists may not have intended to help launch these types of ideologies, they inadvertently did. Because one thing I've noticed about women, specifically feminists, and not just the liberal feminists, all factions of them, is that they are very naive and they refuse to course correct even in the face of evidence. That's why feminism has become like a part of the elite culture, because it's not evolving with the times to help uh, its core audience. So it has shifted towards being something largely for the upper middle class. So I think it was always like that, but they never made any attempts to reach out to the poor and the middle class as a whole. So yeah, I believe that largely incels have been influenced by a lot of things. One thing being music, where artists like Eminem helped launch incel ideology into white communities. I'm sure there are many other people, but Eminem is really the one who changed everything. You know how they say that Michael Jackson helped launch multiculturalism, or Eminem helps launch red pill ideology. Even though he does not openly claim the ideology, he has a lot of traits in his personal life and in music that show that align with incel beliefs. So yeah, this is not surprising, and I hope it does not get worse for the sake of women. But with that being said, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I'll do a video on next Tuesday or Thursday, but this is going to be like a 2 or 3 part series where I will come with more receipts next time. But thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day.